Okay. Hello, hello. Welcome to. Alright, hold on. Am I streaming? Am I on? Alright. Hello, hello. Welcome to Stratosphere 144. It is me, and Verdoodle, your favorite commentator, for real, for real. So we got some pretty exciting matches today. We've got some old head individuals. We have Kiki, we've got Effie, and we've got this new gen Kuro in the tournament. And we've also got 3 others pretty promising players. Do apologize a little bit about the stream being a little late, but it's all good. Yeah, we're off to an interesting first match with Tiki versus Civ. I've seen Tiki. We've all seen Tiki. Tiki is like our all-spin demon, our all-spin god, our unkillable spin king. But you know, maybe Civ has a chance. Civ's, you know, they're mid-X rank. They've got some pretty high highs, but I don't know if they're gonna be able to beat Tiki. I'm not gonna lie. This is looking a little insurmountable, but maybe they can prove me wrong. If I remember correctly, Civ is like Plonky. Tiki is just Plonky but better. So this might not be a very upsettable matchup, if you know what I mean. But yeah, maybe we're gonna see a warm-up. I have no idea. Now as far as our other matchups currently, we've also got Kuro and Effie later. That's a Strider. It's very interesting. This is like our Blanker matchup, and then the next game is going to be our Strider matchup. It'll be interesting to see how these 4 try to out-Stride or out-Blank each other. Alright. Straight into the game. Alright, no warm-up. Very brave. Alright, starting off, we see Fairy Cannon from Tiki. Straight into some quick back-to-back. Civ is going noticeably slower. Oh, we get an early break from Tiki. That's not very good for his position. But it's going to be a quick back build-up back again. Quick break. Civ is also forced to break. Back into a neutral position right now. We see Civ kind of hesitating. Maybe hunting for like better solves. I'm not really sure. We see Tiki just kind of building up this back-to-back, getting his stride out. Well, if it even can be called stride. Oh, we see Civ with the counter spike. Tiki is forced to break very early. Okay, Tiki's in a little bit of a rough position here. Yeah, sorry. Civ had the back-to-back surge advantage. Tiki was forced to brain rot stack in order to attempt to survive, but that eyepiece over the garbage one on the left was just a little too much. Alright, we have MKO from Civ. I didn't quite catch that opener on Tiki's side, but it just looks like he's going for some quick back-to-back with these quick all-spins. Ooh, nice Iceman from Civ to get it under. Tiki doing a little bit of C-spin action, S-spin, just holding on to back-to-back as much as he can. Breaking for a 25 spike. Doesn't look like it'll kill because Civ gets a nice down stack off just in time. Looks like Tiki is continuing to build up this back-to-back with his superior all-spin vision. But it looks like Civ is also trying to build up quickly. We'll see in these positions where one person has a pretty big surge advantage, but it's not insurmountable yet, that the person with the lower surge tries to get off a holy crap 53 spike. Okay, you see Tiki just striding out. That will end there to get the 53 spike with the surge. That is ridiculous. Okay. I'm not too sure about the opener gaming here. We see Tiki not really building on back-to-back yet because of a misdrop. Civ's got back-to-back, but not a very advantageous board state yet. Forced to break. Looks like Tiki's in a little bit of a pickle, but should be able to get out just fine. Oh, wait. Oh, Tiki manages to find the out. Alright, we see Civ going for a little bit of more pressure. Just trying to hunt for that kill as Tiki's at the top. So Tiki doesn't look like he really wants to die, and Civ with a misdrop. So unfortunate. We saw Tiki brush with death a few times in that round, but unfortunately Civ was not able to muster the pressure up in order to kill Tiki. Okay, we're seeing a bit of... I'm not going to question what was on Civ's board there. Some good finds, but look at Tiki's 18 spike. Still has Surge, is in a great advantage state. Is going to be able to keep building up the back-to-back and putting on the pressure. Civ is in a pretty atrocious board state, I must say. Not really anything to find. Opens up the well. But Tiki isn't accepting, and he's got that 18 Surge, breaks it, and Civ does not have any eyepieces to downstack. 3-1 in Tiki's favor. Alright, we're seeing more Fairy Cannon action from Tiki. A little bit faster than usual, going 4 PPS, but immediately slows back down. We see Tiki covers up as well, maybe on an accident. But it's keeping the axe, reopens it, and now has this nice well set up. We see Civ set off their build-up. Both players at 10 Surge, looking pretty even. Looking like it's gonna be a who breaks Surge first matchup. We see Civ with 13, Tiki also 13. Tiki's gonna not be forced to break insane find there. Good all spins to keep that garbage access and maintaining that back-to-back 30 Surge. It's looking very rough for Civ. Any moment Tiki can set that off, and the board state, there's no out. Man, Tiki breaks, but it doesn't even matter because Civ was already dead anyway. You see there the crazy Surge advantage Tiki had just forces Civ to stack in a very uncomfortable manner to try and maximize their potential for survival. But there, it just kind of made them overthink, I guess. Alright, nice Fractal. This is an interesting 9-0, but resolves for Civ. We see a little bit of back-to-back build-up for Tiki. Tiki has a slight Surge advantage, but when the numbers... Oh, wait, Civ breaks for nothing, and Tiki gets a 25 strike, doesn't break his back-to-back. Civ does open up the well, but Tiki still has his 26 Surge and is continuing to build it up. And, yeah, Tiki just breaks, and there's nothing Civ can do there. Not much you can really do when the Surge disadvantage is that big. Alright, we see Fairy Cannon versus MKO. We see Tiki very rapidly building up to 4 back-to-back and continuing onward. This is a very interesting setup. Tiki's forced to break, opens up the garbage access well though, and look at Civ's cheesed up board. Civ breaks for an 18 spike, does absolutely nothing though to Tiki. We see that these low surges really aren't that great. As you get higher and higher, breaking early is a very big disadvantage. Oh, and we see a 44 spike from Tiki. Great full board down stack into a surge break. Correctly determines that Civ will not be able to survive after the break. Alright, we see Reliable versus Fairy again. We see that Tiki, though, often will tank garbage in exchange for rapidly building a back-to-back with Allspin. And then later on, with his good Allspin mission, manages to open the well and gets this 43 spike just like right now. Oh my. Huge APP from Tiki. Civ isn't doing bad, but it's just too much pressure too quickly. Alright. Tiki again doing Fairy. Civ building up quick back-to-back, but misdrops it. And we see Tiki continuing. Oh, Tiki stalling. Finds his Allspins. Tiki continues with the back-to-back build-up. Civ opens up a nice well, gets into this LST stacking. He's gonna have to beat up though to make a difference. But he's slowly catching up in Surge, but Tiki breaks. Civ forced to break it on the back foot, and yeah, Tiki bursts out a little more pressure, and Civ is just unable to get down. Alright. We're seeing a denied PC from Civ. Honestly, that is the good play. That might have been a good play there. PCs just aren't as good as they used to be. I mean, they were never amazing, but especially now with them only sitting 6. We see Tiki right now in kind of a slight advantage state. Yeah, see there. Civ just did not have the correct pieces to find a downside. There was not really any way to skim for an eyepiece in time. Alright. Civ utilizes the opener phase mechanic to cancel all the garbage. Again, we see Tiki with more surge advantage. This is kind of becoming a theme throughout the set where Tiki just in general has better capacity for rapidly building up back-to-back. And then Civ is forced to either break early, just like right now. Early break. Now Tiki has a 22 surge advantage. And he's just going to keep building it. And even if, like right there, that Civ finds the downside, it doesn't matter. Because it's so much garbage. Alright, match point for Tiki. Alright, we're seeing more Fairy. Tiki again building that back-to-back, but that eyepiece on the left is definitely going to slow him down. Alright, Tiki continuing to build back-to-back. That early surge from Civ forces Tiki to break. Tiki's in an awful board position. Needs to burst out, but unfortunately the O piece is going to get him killed. Civ takes a second point. Great early surge from Civ, calling Tiki out on their overgreed. Okay, Tiki with maybe a slight misshot, I'm not sure. But Civ is also kind of in a bad position from their own misshops. But both players seem to be cleaning it up. Although, early break from Civ. And then break from Tiki. Alright. We see both players trying to gain the surge advantage. They're fighting for it. Oh, Tiki, one piece off. Too slow. And Civ with great pressure. Good awareness and trying to force Tiki to force a kill as Tiki greeds. Alright. Both player Tiki cancels. Oh, good garbage RNT for Tiki. We see the TSD from Tiki as Civ continues to try to build up back-to-back. Trying to send a little pressure. Oh, Civ is forced to break because they are not fast enough. Tiki breaks for a 25 spike. Oh, Civ barely managed to get out, but all Tiki has to do is send a little more pressure. Oh, missed down suck from Civ, and that's going to be the game. Tiki's just a little too efficient, and a combination of both being more efficient as a plunker and also just straight up faster. Civ was not able to really counter or find any counters for Tiki's playstyle. Okay. Now, we've got another matchup. Another very interesting. Instead of Plonker versus Plonker, we're getting Strider versus Strider. Kurotso versus Effie. So, I'm sure everyone knows Kuro. 4 PPS stacking, sometimes 5. Randomly hits 300 APM for no reason. And then we have Effie, kind of a old gen kind of pick. Played for a while. During the beginning of season 2, they're on 4 PPS. Very fast, decently efficient, although I would definitely say not as efficient as Kuro. It's gonna be a very interesting matchup because Kuro is gonna have to leverage her better efficiency to beat out Effie, or she can do a less consistent strategy and just try to straight up outspeed Effie. And we definitely see that Effie is going to be, through even from the stats, we can see Effie is definitely going to be the more offensive player, possibly. Or just they're going to upstack more. And then Kuro is going to be focused on more balanced gameplay. All right, into the warm-up. All right, we see Reliable versus TKI. Both players very even. Although, yeah, both players very even. Looks like Kuro has a slight speed advantage. And then Effie breaks early. That's not going to be good because it's a very late T-piece. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Effie had the latest possible T-piece and was just not able to get to it before they died to their own stacking. All right, into the game. So we'll also be seeing another TKI versus Reliable here. Yep, TKI versus Reliable again. This time we see Kuro with the slight speed advantage again. Pretty much the same thing. Both players are building it Surge at pretty much the same rate. Kuro slowing down a little bit. Both players very similar. Effie does do an early break, forcing Kuro to break. Kuro has slight misdrops. We see Effie with a slight surge advantage, although this could change at any moment. If Kuro can manage to get access to her garbage wells, Effie breaks early. And yeah, that's just a very sudden spike from Effie, not able to react in time to the sudden influx of garbage. You see their early breaks really don't do anything for these players, right? All it does is put you in a disadvantaged state, because it's almost guaranteed the other person will survive. We see Kuro deny going for more back-to-back in favor of just immediately getting a spike. We see Kuro early break for a 24. Oh my god, and Effie one piece off again. Alright. We see SCPC spin from, nope, extended versus SCPC spin. Effie doing extended. Quite a dark horse opener, especially in top rank play. It can be very risky. Oh man, Kuro overgreeds though. Kuro overgreeded there. They could have survived, but they chose to take the greedier decision to try and get a little more attack out of that. It was just not, it was too much. Alright, we see Effie going for normal SCPC spin. Kuro early breaks, forces Effie to break. Effie's in a not great position right now. Forced to cover up the well, and yeah, that's just too much. The covering up the well right there was just, they did not have enough eyepieces in time for that. If they had maybe 2 eyepieces in the queue, that would have been okay. Okay, we see Effie with a misdrop. Kuro has no opener. It's just SCPC. Or not SCPC, sorry. SCSD. We see Effie immediately send back the garbage they receive. Kuro does find a nice well. Oh, Kuro again accesses a nice well. Effie doesn't have surge. Kuro's in a good surge advantage state. Continuing to build up that surge, although their stacking is leaves a little bit to desired. Alright, good STSE solve from Kuro. At 20 surge and continuing to build, breaks it. Oh, Effie needs more eyepieces. Manages to save the eyepiece for the downstack. Striding out. Kuro has no pressure. Kuro doesn't find any pressure in time. And that's just going to let Effie get out. Although they do have a surge advantage now. Kuro decides to be a little greedy and keep back to back. It does work out in her favor because she now has, what, a 15 surge advantage. Effie early breaks to try to make Kuro break. Doesn't work. Gets punished for it with a 36 spike. Alright. All right, we see SCPC spin versus LST. Kuro's LST. Yeah, there's not enough pressure for Effie post SCPC spin to keep up with that LST stall on Kuro's side. Kuro just gets the thing is with this matchup right now is that Kuro's just getting the back-to-back advantage and holding on to it and maintaining it better than Effie, as Effie is constantly early breaking, which is what you do not want to see. Kuro tanks garbage, good read. This is a great garbage board state. Decides to take a better decision, greeds a little bit more for some extra damage. 14 spike early break. Effie is building up at the surge advantage right now. Early break again. Doesn't kill Kuro. Maybe the follow-up will? Definitely not. Nope. Kuro barely finds the out. Effie is striding out of their mind to try and kill Kuro. Okay, Kuro finds their out, but they're in a little bit of a surge deficit. Reads a little bit to build up to that 4-5 back-to-back, trying to even out the surge advantage. Oh, and Effie early breaks. Effie is in an awful board state right now. And yeah, Kuro just breaks their 10 surge. Just Effie is not in a great position, and it's just over for that round. Alright, we're seeing Reliable versus TTI yet again. We see Kuro being a little bit quicker on the draw when it comes to building up that back-to-back. Has to hunt for that eyepiece, although it's okay because Effie early breaks. Now Kuro's in an advantage state with that extra back-to-back. Continuing to pressure Effie. Effie needs to speed up right now to try and even out that surge disadvantage. Trying to up to 7, up to 8. Early breaks does not force Kuro to break. Kuro breaks for a 30, 40, 50, 53 spike. Oh my god. Surge break into a full board down stack. Yeah, it was a gamble for Effie to break that early to try and force Kuro to break, but once they didn't, it was just pretty much over. Okay, Kuro stalling with SCPC spin. Okay, great well for Effie. Kuro needs to get their force their early break. Effie also early breaks, not the correct decision because Kuro is just gonna tank that garbage. It's not enough to kill. Re-attack, and yeah, Effie does not have any follow-up. This is just it's just a mismatch in surge management skills. They're relatively similar in stacking. It's just Kuro is better at managing her surge than Effie is. Okay, Effie greeting for the TST. Kuro decides to not get TST and instead forced to break early for no reason. And now Kuro's at a surge advantage. Again, Effie denies building to surge, forces Kuro to break. Kuro hunting for a down stack, playing at a whimsical 2.7. Oh, and yeah, that's just too much pressure there. Kuro maybe doing a little bit of tomfoolery with that 2.7 PPS average. SCPC versus SCPC spin. Kuro tanks during the SCPC spin, needs to get access to that garbage well. Kuro out of surge advantage. Good find. Oh, that's not good. Kuro forced to break early. Needs to get to the down stack right now to avoid getting out pressured by Effie. Effie breaks early. Not a great decision. I mean, Kuro maybe you could have killed there, but Kuro just lives anyway. Kuro early breaks to continue her down stack. Effie building up back to back rapidly with LST stacking. Oh, and Effie misdrops the eyepiece. Oh, Kuro one piece off. Almost gets off because Effie misdrops and misses a little bit of attack. PCO versus MS2, it's an MS tangent opener from Kuro. Effie this time is the one in the surge advantage from the beginning. Just utilizing that 4-5 stacking. Forced to break early. Kuro does not have the down stack, and yeah, Effie takes another round. We're seeing a little bit of a comeback from Effie. All right, we see Kuro rapidly building up the back-to-back again. Okay, a little bit shot from Kuro. Effie is now in the surge advantage. Breaks to kill Kuro, and yeah, it's just gonna be a kill. 5-8. Still in Kuro's favor, but it's closing in rapidly. All right, this time we have a Ditto opener. Okay, we see Fe, because of their misdrop, tanks a little bit. Kuro's doing some alien stacking in order to fix their board state. Forces Fe to break early, but the misdrop! What is that? Oh my. And Kuro goes from a advantage nearing the kill state to themselves getting killed because of their misdrop. Alright, reliable versus some kind of 9-0 opener, I guess. Okay, Kuro needs to speed up right now. This is an awful position. They have no downside. They have no eyepieces. Effie is doing something on their board. They did have a surge advantage, but no longer they do have it. They have forced to waste both eyepieces. Effie does stride out to find their down stack. Both players kind of skim rotting. All right, Effie seems to have found their stride again, up to a 14 spike, immediately breaks back to back. It does nothing. Kuro is now at it. Oh my, Kuro immediately breaks, getting rid of their advantage state. Oh, trying to find pressure to kill Effie. It does not exist. Kuro finds a 24 down stack. Okay, Kuro striding this LST, trying to find enough pressure to kill. It's close. They're at an 11 surge advantage. Oh, forced to break by Effie's counter spike. Look at all this cheese on Effie's board. It disappears so quick. But now Kuro's going to be the one with the surge advantage as long as they maintain their speed. Okay, good find from Kuro. Opens up the garbage well with surge advantage, breaks for a 23 spike, and Effie has nothing. Well played from Kuro. Well played. Nice. Nice score, by the way. All right, reliable versus TKI again. Okay, we see the LST stacking from Kuro. She has surge advantage. Can she maintain it? Effie early breaks, does literally nothing to Kuro's board state. Kuro maintaining this rapid fire 4.6 PPS LST, maintaining this advantage state through surge. Effie misdrops, fixes their misdrop very quickly, has access to that garbage. They have to counter spike to force Kuro to break now. Kuro forced to break 17 spike. Effie does live. They don't get time. They don't place the pieces in time to get to the eyepiece. Oh, that sucks. One piece off. Okay. Again, reliable. I'm not sure what opener Kuro did, but rapid build surge build up from her. Effie has 0 surge, 0 back-to-back, and just immediately drops to Kuro's pressure without them breaking. Well, that's a GG. We do see there a classic case of technically these players are pretty much equal on paper. It's just when you put it in practice, Kuro has better macro skills than Effie does. All right, solid game from both though. That wasn't bad. Okay, on to our losers bracket. All right, so for our first matchup, we've got Effie versus let me see, Effie versus no, not Effie. Civ versus HX Ice Cream. This I can't even. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is a very one-sided matchup. This is the upset they talk about in your dreams. You know, this is when you dream and you dream of your upset against Firestorm. This is like that matchup. So, yeah, we got Civ mid X rank top 200 versus HX Ice Cream mid U rank. I think HX Ice Cream is a plonker, although they are slower than Civ. And it's looking like Civ does have, well, okay. Civ and HX Ice Cream just have very similar stat lines. It's just Civ is faster, is what it's looking like from my perspective. So this is just going to be a very difficult matchup for HX Ice Cream. It's similar to the matchup we had versus Tiki versus Civ. It's really interesting, the dichotomy here. We have Tiki, who's faster than Civ. So Civ can't really do anything because they have the same playstyle. Civ versus HX Ice Cream. They have the similar playstyles. It's just Civ is faster. So HX Ice Cream can't really do anything against Civ. See what I mean? This is like the X plus to X rank to U rank difference. And it's also notable that Civ is probably a little more efficient than HX Ice Cream. But yeah, we're gonna see. Yeah. Either player wants a warm up. Oh. Amber commentary is fire. Not gonna lie. Thank you very much, Effie. It's been a while. I'm a little washed. That's true. Why does HX Ice Cream's pronouns say he or he slash Rennie RNY? Rennie? Okay, we're going with that. But yeah, this is very interesting. So we had like high X plus versus mid X. Now we have mid X versus mid U. So yes, seems we're just waiting on the players at this point. Yeah, I will say if HX Ice Cream is going to take the set, it's going to require some either very high level play from HX Ice Cream or some low rolling on Civ's part, like some misdropping or something. Or who knows? Maybe HX Ice Cream's TR is just lying to us, and they're actually like X plus, and we just haven't seen them play before. But yes. Honestly, we've got the Canadian flag on HX Ice Cream side. Maybe Gigabrain and Outsmart Civ 137. Okay, here's the thing though. Civ is the Gigabrain player here. You cannot beat you cannot upset someone by trying to play to their advantages. That's not possible. That's just not gonna happen. Like, I'm never gonna beat Westel by going faster. Does that make sense? If HX Ice Cream is gonna win this, they have to play to Civ's weaknesses. For example, they have to cheese a lot. Because Civ is a clunker. They're not going to be good at cheese. Or something like, or they have to play faster. Not try to outsmart Civ. That's not the play. Trying to outsmart Civ is just not going to work. Effie says, feel like my main problem against Kuro is my upstack is inconsistent, which leads to breaking early. So many random times when I just don't have a good way to continue. That's true. You tended in your set to have lots of moments where it was like, this specific piece screwed over your surge, or you had a solve but you didn't see it, and you decided to keep striding. Sometimes you have points where if you had just slowed down for like a second and be like, oh, I can put this piece down, then spit it in, and now my well is open again, and this is great. Then it would have been fine. Because the big thing with those high level matches is if you get in surge disadvantage, it's probably the worst position you can be in. Are you saying that if I play in Strato, I get free Amber coaching? No, I'm providing my analysis as is intended. Okay, now onto the warm up. All right. If we're gonna see SDPC or any variant, it's gonna be right now. Okay, we do not. We see reliable versus CKI. This is starting to become a little bit of a pattern in this tournament. Okay, Civ takes a T-spin null. We see HX Ice Cream going really slow, and I mean really slow. Okay, Civ misses the back-to-back continuation, but it doesn't matter because HX Ice Cream is too slow to hit the TST. That's very unfortunate. All right. We might see a bit of a wash here if HX Ice Cream does not pull it together and do one of two things: play cheesier or play faster, or do both. Yandere cosplay versus Yandere cosplay. I mean, you're not wrong. I would just say I would say Civ is better than Yandere. That's it. All right. So we see Waste T TKI versus not Waste T TKI. So HX Ice Cream does have a little bit of garbage on the board. This could make it a better or worse position. They don't go for a surge. The timing. Okay, we see HX Ice Cream use timing to take Civ out without using surge. Good call. Civ did overgreed there. All right, Civ is hunting for back-to-back. Yeah. Civ is just building on the back-to-back. HX Ice Cream is busy misdropping. Okay, now HX Ice Cream is the one with the cheese on their board. No combo downside because of the 2 and 10. They do manage to access it, but it doesn't matter because Civ is just going to keep building up this surge advantage. And if HX Ice Cream can't force Civ to break, it's GG. There's nothing you can do if the surge disadvantage gets too big. All right, Civ misses the back-to-back continuation. Forced to break, but they're in a great position because look at all this clean. Easy access. It's going to be like a 20 spike, and HX Ice Cream does not have the pieces or the down stack. All right, we see Civ doing a waste T-spin opener. I'm not sure what that was. HX Ice Cream does have garbage access, takes it. They need to build at least 4 surge more consistently to really have a chance in this matchup. We see Civ already is at 7 back-to-back, 9 back-to-back, 10 back-to-back. He's just gonna keep building this. If you can't counteract this, you're just not gonna win. It's like one of the tenets of season 2. Look, just randomly 18 spike. Now HX has to stride a little bit to find access, and now Civ can build up yet again. Or they can full board down stack and get rid of all the resources. Okay, but HX Ice Cream does misdrop. They do misdrop. That's unfortunate. They did have a down stack. That's unfortunate. Okay. We see Civ doing something. I'm not sure what it is, but that is TKI on HX Ice Cream's board. Building up back-to-back. This is good. Okay. Taking a little bit to try and figure out which variant they need to do for the pieces they were given. Covers up the well, I guess. They're going to need to stride. Nope, they can't stride. Okay, Civ is now at a definite surge advantage. 11 surge. Going to continue building. They've got clean on their board. All they have to do is access it. Civ misses the quick access, decides to greed a little bit. It's alright though. Cancels all the garbage that HX Ice Cream is telling them. HX Ice Cream also does have garbage access. Oh my god. Civ overgreeds and loses with a 19 surge advantage. Okay. Alright. We see UI Metal from HX Ice Cream. An interesting choice in the current meta. Definitely a dark horse. Alright, Civ just continuing to build back-to-back. This is what we like to see. The continuing to build back-to-back. HX Ice Cream does find garbage access. Doesn't matter because Civ hits a 35 spike. Combo down 6 just don't work as well as they used to. Especially with Surge. Alright. Failed MKO versus DCO. Okay, we get the 9. It's in a spot that Civ can't quickly downstack, but HX Ice Cream has no follow-up. And Civ sends it all back. A lot of garbage on HX Ice Cream board, but it's all clean. If they can get access to it, it's all clean. They do find their access, and Civ misdrops himself to death. Fantastic. 3-3, even. So this is the other situation that could happen. Civ could start imploding their own stacking. Out of anything, nervousness, tilt, not feeling it that day. Okay, good upgrades from Civ. Gets the Force Surge. Hopefully doesn't early break. HX Ice Cream has a very interesting board state. This is not conducive to their continued existence on this tournament. Yeah, and that spike from Civ is just too much. Civ didn't even have to break Surge there. I think that was a misdrop, though. Hello. Thank you for the raid, Derbster. Or Derbsterber. Yes, thank you for the raid. Alright. We're seeing HX Ice Cream do a little bit of misdropage. They do find the down stack. Good job with the down stack. Finds more down stacks, but how long can they keep this up before Civ just sends this 13 surge advantage? Okay, a little greedy from HX Ice Cream there. Civ at 17. HX needs to act as garbage quick. Yeah, I mean, there's just not really much to do there. You have to play safe so you can survive the 19, but you have to play quick so you get down fast enough. Very hard to balance that. And good pressure from Civ too. Okay, we're seeing. What is this? What am I watching? I'm watching 4-wide. It's not, and they covered the well, so they can't get a down stack combo. Okay, it's cheesy. At least it's cheesy. But Civ does have 6 back-to-back. HX Ice Cream is low enough though that it doesn't matter if Civ breaks at this current moment. Not really in a dangerous position, but still definitely in disadvantage. Okay, now with that misshop, they are in a dangerous position. 13 surge advantage for Civ, continuing to build it up. It's gonna be 16 real quick. 16. I mean, HX Ice Cream does have a nice well, but they need to get to it before Civ breaks, or it's just cooked. And they do get to it before Civ breaks, but it's not enough. Alright, both players doing interesting wasty openers. Although Civ's is a little more efficient than HX Ice Cream. Opens up the well. Civ is in a back-to-back advantage state. And we see both of them kind of trading, but HX is doing a lot of skimming, which means they have no back-to-back. Which means Civ is always going to be in advantage state no matter what. And HX misdrops. Very dangerous position now. Civ could pretty much end the game at any moment. And yeah, I mean, 18 back-to-back. Doesn't have to break it to kill. That's just unfortunate. Bad misdraw from HX. Alright, we see TKI versus TKI. Although it's LSC variant versus the squiggly one. I just call it the squiggly one. I forgot the name. I remember hearing about it, but I forgot the name. Fonzie. Civ does have big back-to-back advantage already, very early into the game. Civ is just gonna keep building this up. Here's the thing. You have to somehow disrupt your opponent's back-to-back, or you are going to lose. Look at this. There's no disruption going on. There is only aiding and abetting. Civ is now at 20 surge, and even though HG is not playing bad, like they're going near 1 APP, it doesn't matter because they're not doing anything to disrupt Civ. Look at this, 24 surge, 25 surge, great stacking from HX, no disruption. And they break, and that was just a clean break. The HX does live, but doesn't survive the follow-up. And we see HX again, another example where you need to find these combo down stacks to make Civ break. If Civ doesn't break, you lose the game. You have to force him to break. Okay, not bad from HX. Finds the garbage well, very efficient, very clean. Okay, great position, huge spike. Maintains back-to-back. Now HX is the one in control because they have back-to-back advantage. We see Civ trying to maintain efficiency, get these garbage well opens, and get a little bit of back-to-back of their own. HX forced to break, but Civ is in an awful position, 0 pieces, and HX takes the round. Great round from HX. All right. We see more waste T, but this time HX is setting up these TDs. These TD openers are good for the slower player because as you tank garbage, it makes them very volatile. But you do have the problem where Civ is just gonna build back-to-back while you're stalling, like right now, where Civ has a 9 back-to-back advantage and 11, and it's just gonna keep going up. And yeah, Civ breaks because they misdrop. HX manages to find a good downside just in time. We do see HX cockroach stocking to get out of that one, but they are very close to death right now. Civ just needs to get to that force surge and break. Oh no, should have held on to it. Civ hits, HX hits that 16 spike, and Civ does not have the pieces to deal with that. Civ with a little too much greed, I think, there. All right. We see... No, just no. 6 game, no. That's not gonna work. I'm sorry. Why 6 game? We've been over this before. 6 skim is not a great opener. And see, look at this. They even have RNG. They got so much clean, but they can't access it because they don't have enough time. And Civ just breaks. All right, 9-5. We see there that 6 skim just doesn't have enough initial pressure to deal with Civ starting to stride, right? Okay, great. Actual 6 spin. Now they do have enough pressure to access their garbage well. Access the garbage well. Takes pretty clean, but we're seeing Civ start to speed up. Looks like they want to end this. Doesn't matter though because HX is finding these counter spikes. Great garbage. Oh, I don't know about the hamburger there, but it's okay. HX is forced to break though. Civ is in an advantage state with this extra back-to-back, even if HX has clean. And see, Civ accesses that garbage well, has that 12, breaks the 12, and HX is a misdrop on their board, and it's just over. All right. 10-5 in Civ's favor, match point. We're going to need a huge comeback. Honestly, HX is doing better than I thought they would, though. I got to give them credit. Okay, amazing 6-spin RNG here. Break, gets the surge even. Maximizes damage. Civ has 0, just 0. There's just nothing they can do there. They needed to not misdrop. Hello, Rich and Pooh. That is me, Amber Doodle, your commentator for this tournament. Welcome. Okay, 4 wide from... Oh, nope. I thought it was 4 wide. Nope, it's 6 skim. Does cancel with opener phase. 0 follow-up though. Breaks back-to-back immediately. This is not good. Immediate misdrop too. We see Civ now is in advantage state with the extra pressure, with the extra back-to-back. HX needs to get back on their footing rapidly to try and come back with the surge. Come back from the surge disadvantage. Unfortunately, you're being forced to skim so much. It doesn't matter. They are never able to build back-to-back. And yeah, Civ doesn't even need to break their back-to-back. They just utilize the mental pressure, I guess is what I would call the mental pressure of being in surge disadvantage to kill HX Ice Cream. And GG. Not bad from HX, honestly. That was well played until they started stick skimming. After that, I don't know. But before that was great. Hugh finally enlisted you? No, actually, I fully decided to commentate this one on my own. They made the announcement, and I was like, I have commentating forever. I'm going to do this again. And here I am. So yeah, we do see Civ advance to losers round 2. And next up will be Effie versus Kanitama 1934. Who is, Kanitama. Okay. If the last one I said was a wash, this one is even more of a wash. We now have underranked X plus and high U rank. Do I need to explain more? I did enjoy watching. Actually, I haven't seen Kanitama yet, so maybe Kanitama is gonna surprise me. Maybe they're gonna hit us with some insane stacking. But Effie is 4 PPS. Effie is 180 APM. I'm not sure if there is a U rank in existence that can deal with this. But, you know, if there's anyone who can, maybe it's Kanitama. Maybe Kanitama will be the U rank of our dreams. Okay. Quick stacking from Effie. We see immediately that Kanitama is going to be in a speed disadvantage for the entire set. But Effie decides to play no hold, and there's the warm up. So there's your warm up, folks. Kanitama wins. The copying baby is actually Effie. The atomic bomb is Kanitama, and they're about to explode Effie's tournament chances. Apparently, judging from the warm up. Okay, but actually though, honestly, Effie is gonna be at speed advantage the entire game, and they're probably also gonna be at surge advantage the whole game. So Kanitama's best chance is to get these ridiculous human benchmark stacking things where they just get 20 spikes from 0 surge, which is pretty rare and very difficult. We will see. We see Effie doing no hold. Great. We have quick play in tournament. Here it is, folks. And it works because they're going for PPS. This is fantastic. This is so fantastic. This is Stratosphere. This is Stratosphere 144. All right, now we see Effie using their hold button. Kanitama trying to build up some surge. Effie misdrops. Kanitama hunting for a little bit of pressure, takes out Effie. I mean, Effie just misdropped so much there. Any pressure would have killed. 1-1. Okay, we do see Kanitama misdrop their MS2 stacking. And Effie is now again doing no hold. Why? I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. But it does work. They go 4 PPS, 100 APM, and take out Kanitama with their overwhelming pressure. Alright, Kanitama again hitting the MS2. This time they do not misdrop it. Effie is again doing no hold in tournament. Very inefficient no hold, I should add. Kanitama does misdrop. It's okay though. Kanitama misdrops again. Okay, Kanitama is a little too misdroppy right now. They need to as I do say, they need to lock in and stop misdropping if they want to win this set. Right? This is the moment where you need to like not have any presentable weaknesses. Okay, they do find the down stack, and Effie, as they're still no holding, is too inefficient on the down stack. Alright. We see Kanitama. Not bad. They've got great garbage. If they can get to that garbage well, that's amazing. They break back to back early though, so no surge advantage. And yeah, they just get taken out by Effie's rapid 4 PPS again. Just the pressure seems to be a little too much. Effie's like no hold pressure seems to be a little too much for Kanitama to deal with. But when Effie misdrops, Kanitama does have a chance to take the round. All right, we see this LST from Kanitama trying to get back advantage. Effie's going really fast with 4 PPS again. Early break from Kanitama. Effie is in a slightly bad position, I would say. It's not great. Okay, yeah, no. The double S pieces is just awful. All right. Now, we are going to be seeing MS2 again from Kanitama. All right, this is not surge advantage stacking right here. It's okay though. We do hit the TST from Kanitama. Okay, Effie started to use the hold button. What the heck? I mean, not really, but kind of. Alright, Effie is on surge disadvantage, but the spike they sent cancels Kanitama's surge break that was early, and their misdrops just forced them to, like, top themselves out. So, another round goes to Effie. This is, interesting. Very true, very true. Okay, SDPC from Effie. Starting to use the hold button again. Kanitama hunting for like these down sacks. Timing, I don't know about that timing. It's a little too much garbage, and yeah, the hesitation from Kanitama just let Effie continue building up pressure, and eventually it just became all too much at one time. MKO versus misdropped SCPC spin. And SCPC spin is notoriously bad to misdrop, but Effie does manage to get out using their superior speed. Kanitama greeds out, is successful, but is forced to break, and yeah, there's just no pieces there. That's quite unfortunate. Alright, Effie, a little bit of misdroppage. Kanitama does have surgery advantage, but they need to maintain it for long enough to force out some kind of mistake. Oh, they misdrop it. Yeah, no, Effie is just immediately on the punish. And yeah, that's too much pressure. Yeah, Kanitama just needs to hold on to their surge long enough for Effie to make a mistake, or for the surge disadvantage to get big enough where it doesn't matter if Effie makes a mistake or not, they're dead anyway. But it seems like Effie is doing a good job of pressuring Kanitama to break early, which is what you need to do when you're in these surge disadvantage situations. Alright, Effie teasing up Kanitama. Kanitama with the misdrop board state. Modern art, as we like to say. Alright, Effie does no hold again. Kanitama with SCPC spin. Misdrops the SCPC spin. Hunts for little back-to-back. Yes, trying to get a little back-to-back, a little bit of value out of the misdrop state. Manages to open up again with the C-spin though. What is going on Effie's board state? Misdrops the eyepiece and does the one placement that would get him killed. That's fantastic. No, the strat by Kanitama last round, or Tama, was misdropping. That was the strat. Okay, Kanitama, more misdroppage. Fixes up their board state though. Okay, continuing to build up back-to-back, but look at Effie's board state. This is so nice. But since Effie is doing no-hold, there's no way for them to build back-to-back. Kanitama does figure out the correct inputs for their ZSD. Doesn't matter because they misdrop and get killed by Effie's superior pressure. 9-4. 2 points off match point for Effie. Okay, we see weird reliable because Effie is playing no hold. Then we see Kanitama trying to stall. We see the tank from Kanitama. They use up the piece. They need to build the overhang. Doesn't matter because they rush for it. Kanitama's in a slightly awkward position. No back-to-back, but so is Effie with all this cheese. And since they're doing no hold, they have to waste so many pieces. What is this? They're wasting all of their eye pieces because they're no holding, and Kanitama is able to find the kill because Effie is not being Effie. Alright. DTO upstack from Effie. Misdrop stacking from Kanitama. We see Effie building up surge despite the fact they're literally playing no hold. Okay, this is too greedy. Kanitama finds the down sack in time, just at the perfect timing, where Effie was just in a terrible board state. All right, all clear for Kanitama. Are we gonna see a second one? No, not a second one. That would have killed immediately. Misdrops their stacking, I think. there was a solve there. They just missed it. Okay, misses the Z spin. Kamitama's just very awkward position right there. They missed so much stuff that it ended up, and since they missed so much stuff, they were forced to compromise on all of their stacking, like where they put their pieces, and that just led to catastrophic failure. All right, we see Effie maintaining this garbage well open. We see Kamitama building up with LST again. This is what they need to do. Need to build up that surge advantage and take out Effie early. Great 200 APM. 10-7. All right. We're seeing Effie again do no hold. Quick PC from Kamitama. Good opener. 200. Okay, early break. It works. 1 APP, 210 APM. Solid round from Kamitama. Alright, SCPC. Okay, we're seeing Effie get a little serious here. SCPC spin versus Mishop SCPC spin. I wonder how this is going to go. And yeah, the Mishop just makes Kamitama's board state implode. And Effie takes the set 11-8. I can't even comment. I'm not gonna say that Kamitama did particularly well. I will say that they got a lot of rounds because Effie was trolling. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. There were some moments where I definitely saw Kamitama play well. It was just the overall in the set. I felt like it was more Effie trolling than Kamitama playing good. But, you know, that's just how it is sometimes. Well, next up, we've got... I don't remember how this works. I think it's... Losers round 2 next, I believe. Kamitama did good under pressure for PPS. Okay, here's the thing though. PPS doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much pressure you're under from PPS. What really matters is how much APM pressure you're under, right? 100 APM is 100 APM. I mean, sure, if it's cheesier, but most of the time, it's going to be around the same. To be honest, you played well. I'm one of the best no-hold because I'm just fast with it. Okay. But it's no-hold versus hold player is the thing. You know? I don't know. But anyway, on to the next matchup. We've got Civ versus Effie. This is a classic kind of matchup where we've got Plunker versus Strider. So yeah, mid X rank versus fake low X plus. Really, okay. Effie is realistically probably mid X plus, probably around top 30. So I'm just gonna judge them with that in mind. Effie needs to. Well, okay. There's nothing Effie needs to do. Effie just needs to play normally. Civ has to disrupt Effie's back-to-back. Effie's gonna be in a constant back-to-back advantage because of their speed. They can build up back-to-back faster than Civ can. Therefore, Civ either needs to A, break Effie's back-to-back, or B, wait until Effie greeds too much and then explode them with their own big spike. We see a warm-up here at Reliable versus SCPC spin. Effie does misdrop, makes their first mistake. Not punished for it yet, although Civ does have a slight surge advantage. Civ also, some misdrops of their own, forced to early break. Doesn't really do anything because Effie is 4 PPS. And yeah, Civ's speed is not as strong as Effie's. And with those like mediocre board states, fast player is always better. So yeah, even if they had equal APM, very, very different versus course. All right, on to the real thing. On to the match. Okay, so Effie versus Civ. Let's see how this goes. All right, TKI versus, again, SCPC spin. We see Effie using opener main to change the interaction between SCPC spin and TKI. Good call. Civ, because they're doing TKI, does build up surge quicker. They early break. And Effie misses the easy out. Okay, I'm surprised. I didn't think they would miss that. Okay, Civ takes first round. Not bad for an early break. Good call on calling out Effie's greed. We see TKI are Reliable versus Reliable. Effie playing much lower than they usually do. All right. Effie playing more efficient than Civ is a sight to see, though. I will say. We see Effie is the one who early breaks, and Civ does not have any valid skims to set off their Surge to live. Okay, reliable from Effie. I believe that's... I thought that was MKO from Civ. Okay, Effie is in a disadvantaged board state. Needs to stride to get down. Finds the down second time. Civ breaks for nothing then. So we're now back into neutral. Although Civ is at the bottom of their board, so maybe a slight disadvantage for them actually. But now Civ is, or Effie is the one early breaking, giving Civ the advantage state. Civ throws the same advantage state away by breaking with the break. Then both players are kind of in a neutral position now. All right, Civ again early breaks. It does nothing. Back into neutral. All right, we see Effie trying to build up some back-to-back. Civ building up in general. Also building up back-to-back. Very even for both sides. Both players early break. Again, it does nothing. All right, Effie is in advantage state, I think. Yep, fast break. Civ doesn't have immediate access, but does manage to find the access. Trying to build up a little back-to-back doesn't matter because they have to skim to get out. And look at Effie's board state. It's all clean. It's all clean. Nothing you can do here on Civ's side except stride and hope for the best. All right. We now see MKO versus SCPC spin. Okay. FE slowly working their way towards this through the C spin. Civ finds the garbage access, immediately takes it. We see FE has a surge disadvantage. It is advantage for Civ. That can change at any moment if Civ does not keep this back-to-back. Civ keeps back-to-back, breaks out a 32 spike, and because of FE's hold, they cannot access the eyepiece. All right, another SDPC spin from FE. All right, we see Civ. Both players are in pretty much equal surge state. FE breaks early. That's not good for FE. Giving. Civ gets garbage access, immediately breaks. Doesn't find the kill. Break was a little too hasty, in my opinion. And yeah, immediately FE just punishes. So I don't know. Civ needed an op right there. That was too greedy. They greedy for the kill. They thought they would kill and they did not. Both players doing reliable. Civ doing a different version of it? I'm not sure. That's definitely not the main line. Okay, FE onto the LST stack. Finds good pressure and one Mino, the one Mino on the garbage well for Civ. Means they cannot access their garbage well. TKI versus TKI. FE gets lucky, gets good garbage RNG, good garbage access. But that means so is Civ is also going to get it. And yeah, FE does not have the correct pieces for that. What FE should have realized is that as they're both doing the same opener, they are both going to get good garbage RNG if Civ tanks. So should have tried to strive to send a little bit like of cheese or something to throw off the garbage where the garbage column would be. FE has a great position, but Civ is also about to be in a great position because of the way the garbage is going to spawn in. And yeah, Civ is just able to access garbage here. You see it again? Where both FE knows where the garbage well is going to be. If you look over for even half a second on Civ's board, you realize, oh crap, if I send any clean, it's going to be on his well. Maybe I should send some cheese. Alright. Great stride from Civ to get more back-to-back, but that's not a great position. Forced to break early. Look at this stacking from Effie. It's all building the surge advantage ever higher, making victory for Civ ever out of reach. Although they are forced to break, and Civ does manage to survive, resetting the game back to neutral as long as they can get access to the garbage one. They waste the eyepiece on the left side as Effie is striding. Yes, Potato, this is indeed Stratosphere 144. SCPC spin from Effie. Misdrops, so their follow-up is going to be not so great. Civ is at a surge advantage, but Effie has more pieces on the board, more material to work with. Effie early breaks, so does Civ, resetting the game back to neutral. Okay, Civ color clears, but look at this. Effie's at 7 back-to-back, and Civ has nothing. Effie's just going to keep building this up. There's not much Civ can do here other than hope and pray. Once it gets to this position, it is find something to send. Yeah, no. Civ gets imploded by Effie's 15 surge, which honestly in the grand scheme of things isn't that much, but it's just the fact that Civ has nothing to counter it with. So they just have to face tank it. Alright. Civ doing some all spin to maximize their surge. Forced to early break. Effie has all of the surge. Breaks for no reason. Okay, both players are in an awkward position. It's gonna be whoever can go faster now. And it's gonna be Effie. Effie, with who I've said is gonna have the speed advantage for most of this game. Is just striding. Look at this. 10, 10, 11, 12. Break? No break. Okay, breaks, but it's too late. Alright, the hesitation on the break was too much. Let Civ get out for free. And now we're back to neutral. Effie with some mishops on their board. Civ is not going to be able to build back to back to this, but it doesn't matter because Effie cannot downsack their misdrops. Alright, we see extended from Effie. Civ is just doing some normal back-to-back stacking. Effie does not maintain back-to-back, which is not great for them. But it doesn't... Oh, whoa. Okay. Okay. Civ doing a little bit of reading, and it's not going to pay off. There's just, yeah, too high for that kind of greed. Effie just, as I said, one spike. And Civ is cooked. Alright, reliable from Effie. Civ is going to get garbage access, but is it going to be fast enough? Yes, they do find a combo downsack, but Effie does have back-to-back advantage. Immediately breaks, and yeah, Civ is one piece off of the out. Hello, Jan Gamer 65. Welcome to Stratosphere 144. My name is Amber Doodle, your current commentator. Welcome to the stream. All right, Effie is in. Okay, Effie's kind of in a disadvantage state though. Look at the right side. Look at this. Look at this eyepiece. What is this eyepiece doing? Has to stride. Uses its superior speed to get out of that position. Now Civ is the one in that disadvantage state. Look at all this pressure. All right. So Civ, I don't know. Civ needed to send a tiny bit of pressure just when Effie had made that mistake, and if he had, it would have been GG. But unfortunately, he did not. Then he got outsped. All right, Effie finds a 29 spike from an RNG opener a moment. A rip for Civ. Match point for Effie. All right, we see SCPC spin from Effie. Misdrops it, but still able to find some pressure out of it. Gets to that force surge, that coveted force surge. Civ early breaks, forcing Effie to make some awkward decisions to survive. It's okay for Effie though, because they find a 17 spike and immediately kill Civ, because they are not ready for that. All right, Effie takes the game 11-5. On to semifinals, or really winners finals. Okay, I mean, that wasn't bad. I just think Civ eventually could not deal with being outsped forever. Like the whole game was just, can you deal with being outsped by a full PPS? Okay. Tiki versus Kuro. On paper, Kuro should win this because they have much superior speed, APM versus everything. In reality, this is very even. Maybe in Tiki's favor. This is because Tiki is okay. It's not even the OJ coaching. The OJ coaching doesn't matter. It's just that Tiki is more consistent. It's consistently more consistent at a top level than Kuro is. Kuro has higher highs but lower lows. All right. We see Tiki rapidly building up back-to-back. Okay, for this warm-up, we're seeing Tiki go much slower than Kuro and still keeping up. They now have a nice down sack. Okay, what was that misdraw? Tiki hesitated too much, and Kuro just manages to find their high. Yeah. Okay, yeah. We saw there a classic example of Kuro having very high highs. 200 APM is my point. I will set that on paper. If this continues, the reality will be Kuro will win. It doesn't matter about Tiki. Tiki doesn't have that same high. But that might not be what happens during the set. Because Kuro is a human and she does not always play perfectly. And that is just the nature of being fast. You are not going to be as consistent as someone who is better at slow-paced gameplay. We see that even though Kuro is going on full PPS faster, they are both at relatively the same surge positions, both forced to break because of Kuro's early break. Tiki finds the down stack. Tiki in a bit of a hairy position. Look at all these holes on their board. They're not spending time building up surge, but Kuro throws away their advantage by breaking early. Kuro doing a little bit of greed at the top of their board, especially against Tiki, forced to early break because of their greed. Now look at this board state. What is this? There's nothing. And that's wraps as Tiki just continues their normal slow pressure, and Kuro kind of tops himself out there. Not down stacking enough. They didn't get down on the board. They were too high. Okay. We see Kuro AFK, and we see Tiki just taking the opportunity to send some cheese. Well, we're having a bit of a moment here. Maybe internet issue. Okay, that is just a swag all clear right there from Tiki. Okay, what is going on here? Are we having a Kurozo parent moment, or are we having like a Kuro needs to eat moment? Kuro needs to eat apples? Something like that? Kuro needs to use the bathroom? I have no idea. Kuro is busy typing on Discord. You know what? I can confirm this actually. This is not happening. Typing of a paragraph. Okay, Kuro is indeed back. Yes, Kuro is typing in the middle of a tournament. This is Stratosphere, everyone. Okay, Kuro is in a surge disadvantage state. Needs to get back with their superior speed. Unfortunately, I don't know if they will survive long enough to do that. It looks like they will because, oh my, okay. 22 spike with very good skim knowledge from Tiki, and he does find the kill. 3-0 for Tiki. Okay, Kuro, rapid fire, building that back-to-back. Tiki's playing this low melodical game. Because of Kuro's misdrops, they are not finding back-to-back preservation, letting Tiki just take the advantage state for free. 15 surge for Tiki. This is great for him. This is where he wants to be. As long as he maintains this, Kuro. Misdrop for Tiki, 33 spike doesn't matter. Even if they misdrop, the advantage state is so advantagey that Tiki can misdrop and still win, which is ridiculous. All right, Tiki doing some flunking, managing their garbage. All right, we see Tiki misdrop their ZPs. Will it matter? We will see. Tiki manages to preserve back-to-back through their misdrop. Continuing to preserve back-to-back. Both players at a very even board state. We see with the misdrops though, Kuro's gonna be forced to break, and oh, so is Tiki, but this Tiki sends more garbage over to Kuro's side. Kuro does find the down stack, but now Tiki is going to be building a back-to-back a little bit faster, forced to break because of Kuro's counter spike. Okay, now again Tiki is back into the advantage with this 12th surge. Kuro is going to try and disrupt this with her own surge. 20 spike. The disruption does work. Tiki's forced to make an awkward stack. Tiki does get out from the awkward stack. Both players kind of in an even position. Neither one's really building a back-to-back yet. Kuro is typing. Solid. Free win for Tiki. Okay. What a round. What a round. Okay. Kuro breaks back-to-back very early. Tiki maintaining their back-to-back advantage. Kuro is not really able to, like, this position is really bad for Kuro. They need to like hard stride, but Tiki can build up just as fast as they can. Okay, they do manage. Tiki does manage. Kuro does manage to like full cancel and maintain their back-to-back and reverse the position. Very cool. Some well-timed spikes right there. Okay, we get Fairy Cannon from Tiki. Kuro is typing again. Alright, we got 8 back-to-back immediately. Kuro goes into the game with a bunch of G's, and Tiki has 10 back-to-back already. 13 back-to-back, 14, 15, 16, like, it's just going up. And yeah, you can't even team for that position. You have no material, no back-to-back. Alright, 4 back-to-back, 6 back-to-back. We see that Tiki is ever so slightly faster at building back-to-back, even if they're like a full 2 PPS slower than Kuro. Kuro early breaks, forces Tiki to break 2. Kuro's going 4.5, but Tiki seems to be handling it just fine. Alright. We see Kuro trying to build back-to-back, but they're misdropping. They're just misdropping too much to successfully build up enough surge to like force Tiki to stop building his own surge. There is a certain point where you need to build You need to build like 8 surge. If you get to 8 surge as Kuro in this position right now, you're fine. But because you're not, you get 31 spiked and you get obliterated. All right. We see Tiki hunting for some quick back-to-back with Allspin, tanking garbage. Kuro's trying to keep as much garbage off of her board as possible. Nice Allspin from Tiki. Kuro is currently in the back-to-back position, back-to-back advantage position. They need to maintain it for a little longer because right now it will not kill. They need to wait for Tiki to maybe... Oh, wow, okay. The pressure just kills Tiki because they're too slow. That is quite unfortunate. Alright. We see Tiki and Kuro again, even on the back-to-back building, but Tiki does have a little garbage on his board, forcing him to break early. Then Kuro also is forced to break early because she misdrops. Kuro finds a 14 spike, but Tiki completely cancels it with a Mech Heart-esque stacking. Alright. Okay, this is a great opportunity for a failed C-spin from Tiki. Tiki is in better position, I think. The surge advantage isn't bad, and see, it's already back. Kuro early breaks, and then so does Tiki, but Tiki finds a nice spike. Both players at very even garbage. Lots of clean on Tiki's board, a little more clean than Kuro has. Kuro has no more clean, and is forced to greed and just cannot handle the incoming garbage. Alright. We see Tiki has the slight surge advantage. I just think it's very interesting how Tiki almost always, they're like Allspin, like ability. Even though they're slower, it's good enough. It's so much better than Kuro's Allspin or back-to-back build-ups that even though Kuro is way faster, it doesn't matter because Tiki is more often in these advantage states. Like, so, look, 6 back-to-back. Kuro has nothing. Yeah, Tiki's forced to break, but like, Kuro doesn't have really any real win condition other than I need to play fast. Look at this, 11 surge. Again, Tiki is in the advantage state. Constantly. It doesn't matter how fast you are not always going to be in if you're not in the advantage state ever, you are not going to win. Okay, Tiki does make an awkward sec, but it doesn't matter because look at that 220 APM. Crazy efficiency. It's literally the whole match is Tiki gets advantage. Then it goes to neutral. Then Tiki gets advantage again. Then Tiki gets to neutral. Then it's advantage for Tiki again. Then Tiki wins. Or Tiki misdrops. Oh, and Kuro misdrops. 10-2. Okay. We see Kuro going for this LST stack. They need to do it really fast to try and build up back-to-back at least at the same rate that Tiki is. Tiki early breaks, very bad for them. Now Kuro is the one in advantage state. 16, 17, 18. Kuro's just going to keep building up back-to-back. Tiki needs to build up back-to-back of his own in order to counter Kuro's back-to-back. But, I mean, as this number goes up, it's just going to get more and more ridiculous to survive. Both players have good back-to-back. This is great defense from Tiki. Manages to survive due to the buildup of their own back-to-back chain as Kuro was building up their offensive back-to-back chain. Very good macro and surge play from Tiki. All right, Kuro again building up. Now they're in a slight advantage. Oh, Kuro, oh yeah, big advantage now. Okay, Kuro forced Tiki to break. They should have broken the second that, okay, it doesn't matter, but they really should have broken the second that Tiki broke. Like right after, they should have taken and broke. That would have been a more guaranteed kill. If Tiki was a little faster, he could have got out of that. But it's alright. Because this is Tiki and not, like, I don't know, Vince. Alright. Tiki finds the back-to-back. He's at a slight back-to-back advantage. Now big advantage back-to-back advantage. Kuro's forced to break. Since Kuro is forced to break, they start sending big pressure, but so does Tiki with a 25 spike. Both players are broke back-to-back. Kuro immediately does an early break, trying to get some cheese onto Tiki's board, I assume, but now they're at a surge disadvantage, meaning they're in disadvantage state. And now Tiki's going to continue building up their own big offensive surge. Kuro with a great defense with these massive like spikes, but again, Tiki's just going to build up to advantage again. With this 9, 10, 11, literally 1 a second. Alright, Tiki breaks for a 34 spike, and Kuro has nothing. GG. We saw really just the power that being able to rapidly build up back-to-back had for Tiki. Even though Kuro had these rounds where she was going like 4, 5 DPS, it didn't matter. If you're building up surge at the same rate as your opponent, your speed is null and void. You're still in neutral. And because Kuro is going faster, that means she's going to misdrop more. So she's going to go from neutral to disadvantage more often, which is what we saw there. Alright, we're having a rematch. Kuro versus Effie. Oh, okay, thank you, Cloudax7222, for rating us. Welcome to Stratosphere 144. I'm the commentator for this tournament. My name is Amberdoodle. Welcome. Thank you for the raid. We are in losers finals. We have on one side we have Effie. On the other side we have Kuro. This is a rematch from a few matches ago. Kuro did win in somewhat of a landslide, but this could change because Kuro against the last match wasn't quite as strong as she was back when she was playing against Effie. So maybe we will see a reversal of what happened. Who knows? We are spectating. We are watching. This is a tournament. You haven't seen a pro game in a while? Well, you know, maybe it's time to get back into it. Alright, into the warm-up. Now, again, Effie needs to misdrop less than Kuro. It's literally going to be that. It's going to be, can Effie maintain back-to-back better than Kuro by not misdropping? Alright, Kuro, busy typing somewhere. I don't know, probably. Yes, definitely. Okay. She is doing something. I'm not quite sure what Kuro is doing, but whatever she's doing, apparently it's more important than the tournament. So, Effie decides to just take the warm-up. Alright, we are moving on to the actual game. Alright, on to the actual game of Effie versus Kuro. We will see what happens. I do think Effie has a solid chance. Effie does have a solid chance. They are fast enough to deal with Kuro. The question is, can they hit that stride while maintaining surge? If they can do that, they should have a good chance. But also, we have to consider the fact that Kuro can also high roll and just go 250 APM no matter like every round, and that is possible. So I would say it is definitely 40-60, maybe even 30. I mean, no, that's a little generous. 30-70 for Effie. They can win. It's going to be an uphill battle though. Oh. Okay. Kuro decides to DQ, I guess. So we are not seeing Effie versus Kuro. We are seeing Effie versus Tiki. For this matchup, I gotta give it a 10. I gotta give it a 1090 for Effie. This is a little more ridiculous in the terms of odds. I will say that Effie versus Tiki is a matchup that's very in favor of Tiki because Tiki kind of thrives in these high APM but bad back-to-back management environments where the opponent will send Tiki a bunch of material and then not maintain back-to-back. And that's kind of Effie's big issue with Season 2 is that they are not very strong at getting to these high surge numbers. That is how you kill Tiki. You have to get to the high surge numbers, like 20, 30, consistently. Or you are not going to find kills because Tiki is very good at not dying to your pressure and maintaining his back-to-back. But if Effie can capitalize on their speed and build up Surge faster than Tiki, which I don't know if it's going to happen. Tiki's very good at building up Surge. Then they might have a chance. But it's going to be a much more uphill battle than Kuro's was, because Kuro does misdrop. Tiki misdrops, and then his misdrop fixes are better than what he had before. Okay, straight into the match. All right, we see Tiki doing a correct fairy. I think that's a correct fairy. Effie is just doing regular stacking. All right, this is not what Effie needs to do. Effie needs to speed up. Unfortunately, Effie is already in disadvantage state because they are not outspeeding Tiki enough, and Tiki is outright better at getting to high surge. You see, like there, early surge, nothing happens. 38 spike, that's your punish. And Effie does not survive because of Tiki's follow-up. I mean, and the fact that they got into the disadvantage state in the first place because they didn't have enough back-to-back. They didn't surge fast enough. They need to build up surge as fast as Tiki to avoid getting out surge and get put into constant disadvantage state. All right. Again, yeah, Tiki forced a compromise. Tiki forced a compromise because of Effie's speed there. That was good. The early break from Effie was strong, forced Tiki to break, and because of their 4.5 PPS, the pressure was just too much for Tiki, even if they compromised. Okay. Effie, building up, has surge advantage, throws away surge advantage in exchange for putting a bunch of cheese on Tiki's board. It looks like Tiki doesn't really have any answer for this so far. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Tiki just trying to build up some back-to-back to get onto, kind of keep up with Effie's own back-to-back build-up. Forced to break. Look though, Effie's greed is gonna bite them in the butt if Tiki manages to get out, and Tiki does manage to get out. Yeah, Effie forced a full board down stack to not accept more cheese, and now Tiki is in the advantage state. All right, both players building up back-to-back. Tiki early breaks, can't find anything. Now Effie's in back-to-back advantage state, no longer in back-to-back advantage state because he broke early. All right, now Tiki's in advantage state because he has more back-to-back and has a lot of clean. And look at this, solve 30, 30, 30, 30, 30. Oh, okay, yeah. Effie does not have an answer for that. All right. We see big TKI. We see Tiki taking cheese in exchange for more back-to-back. It does seem like it's working. Both are even in back-to-back. Effie is lower on the board, which is a disadvantage for them because they want to get like a big spike to go with their surge break. And see, they just raw surge break does nothing. And now Tiki is the one who gets the surge break for a 43 spike with the full board down stack. Good macro from Tiki on the tank too. Okay, Tiki does a little bit of misdroppage. It's okay because Fairy doesn't have deadly opener misdrops. Okay, big spike from Epi, but now Tiki was an advantage. I mean, still is. Yeah, Tiki got into advantage the second Epi broke and sent that big spike because of how much clean it gave Tiki, as well as how little material Epi had. Honestly, should have just maintained his material. If he had done that, he would have had a better chance. Okay, we see Effie building up back-to-back, but now Tiki is the one who's striding, and Tiki early breaks. Okay, Tiki finds his back-to-back. It starts building up. All right, Tiki building up. Tiki finds a SST. Tiki with a 16 surge in the advantage state, continuing to build out that advantage state. Effie has no surge. This is awful position. Still 0 surge. Terrible position. Tiki raw breaks, and yeah, Effie just the raw break when Effie had no back-to-back was just deadly. If you have no back-to-back and your opponent has 31, just like forfeit that round. There's no reason. There's no point unless you can build up to like 8 really quickly. All right, Effie misdrops at the top of their board, and yeah, that top of the board misdrop is just too much. Okay. Tiki kind of running away with it. Tiki makes an interesting decision in the opener, slows down, fixes it well. Okay, both players even on back-to-back. We see Effie keeping that back-to-back. Good back-to-back advantage, but Tiki does have the well open, and look at this. This stacking is a little atrocious for Effie. Oh, they have to break. Oh my god. Yeah, because they were forced to break, because Effie was forced to break at the top of the board, Tiki was just able to tank and then send their own search immediately after. Alright. Now, Tiki doing a little fractal action, doing a little bit of mech heart-esque stacking. We do love to see it. Love to see it, or innovation. Alright. Tiki in a slight surge advantage, now big surge advantage, as Effie broke, but it didn't really have any results. Tiki got to the 37 spike, and yeah, Effie's just in a not good position to tank there. That's just unfortunate. 1-8 in Tiki's favor. Okay, we now see SCPC spin. Both players are still in even position, as Tiki has a little more back-to-back, but also a slightly worse board state. Okay, early break from Tiki. Effie misdrops, so he's also forced to break. Effie does manage to get out. Good find. Tiki needs to stride a little bit to get to this T-piece in time. Manages to get it. Okay, Tiki in a solid advantage state with a 6 back-to-back advantage. 7, 8, 12 back-to-back as Effie is forced to early break. Tiki is also forced to early break. And Effie strides and manages to take out Tiki. Alright. We now see Effie doing MSCPC. Tiki does have the slightest surge advantage. Tiki hunting for a little more efficient back-to-back. Effie has to early break. Tiki maintains his back-to-back. No, Tiki is forced to break. Okay, good C-spin find from Tiki. Alright, I love to see the all spins from Tiki. Very solid. Okay. Now Tiki continuing with his this down stack surge buildup. Effie also has an amazing board state. Okay. Effie could have killed there, but missed the more efficient down stack. It's okay, but still in an advantage state. Tiki is being forced to deal with cheese as he's down stacking and trying to hunt for better solved. Oh, the misdrop! Wait. Tiki finds the down second time. Finds the enough attack to prevent immediate death. Finds a 26 spike and oh, that was clean. That was clean. I like that. That was awesome. And Tiki had immediately, you could see, he had a C-spin set up after. He is a perfect position for it. That is insane. All right. Tiki misdrop, doesn't matter. Finds his spins. Is in the slightest of surge detriments no longer because Effie misdrops. Yeah, Tiki's just building up his back-to-back, finds another C-spin opportunity, takes it, and breaks for an 18 spike, and Effie's just not in a good position, one piece off. I'm not sure if he could have survived there if he had put it flat. I don't think he could have. But the TP's vertical definitely did not help. Effie going for PCs in the big 2025, an interesting choice. Immediately we noticed that Tiki has a surge advantage, breaks immediately. Tiki noticed, I'm guessing Tiki noticed that Effie had nothing, but now Effie definitely has something, and Tiki pays for it. That early surge break just obliterates Tiki's future. Should have maintained that back-to-back. It's so important these days to make sure to have good back-to-back preservation so you never early break. Early breaks are just, sometimes they can just be immediate death. Immediately, you just get punished for it. With how easy it is to go from a disadvantage to advantage state. Alright. Tiki in great advantage as Effie early breaks doesn't add anything to it. This is the issue. You need to break, if you are going to early break into someone's huge surge, you need to have something to go with it. Okay, 30, 30, 30. And yeah, Tiki just sends the 32 raw. And that is the tournament, that is the game and the tournament for Tiki. GG. We have Tiki at first. Second, we have Effie. And third, we have Kuro. Congratulations to you all. Congratulations to Tiki. And congratulations to all of the participants. You all did very well. But yeah, we could definitely just see there that how the metagame has evolved for Season 2, I guess. Where it's just, you know, back-to-back preservation or lose. So, yeah. Definitely a solid tournament. That was pretty enjoyable. I enjoyed commentating for you all. That was fun. I hope you also enjoyed my commentary. And thank you to our wonderful stream host, Hugh99, and our amazing tournament challenge helper, Haunt Nog. Shoutouts to them.
Yay.
So yes, we now have a conundrum. Who do we raid? Please consider commenting again. Oh yeah. You'll probably see me be a little more active. I've been trying to get back into commentating a little more. We see Tetrium. Is that what we're gonna do? All right, I have to try out a Hue 99 Classic. All right, y'all, watch this. We're gonna hit the thank you to the players for playing. Thank you to the commentators for commentating. Wow, Obama meme, Obama meme metal meme. Thank you to the stream host for stream hosting. Thank you to the staffers for staffing, and have a fantastic evening / day / morning / noon / night / go to sleep because it's 1 a.m. So yeah, it's 12 a.m. That probably means you should go to sleep, you know? But yes. Alright, go be good for Tetrium. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Remember, you forgot to... We'll see you all next week.
Alright.
Goodbye.
We will